بینندگان و شنوندگان عزیز، با عرض سلام و احترام خدمت شما عزیزان. از اونجایی که میدونین فردا 16 ژانویه مدارس در استان اونتاریو باز میشه، گفتگویی با وزیر آموزش و پرورش آقای استیون لچی داشتیم که توجه شما رو به این گفتگو جلب میکنیم و توضیحاتی که ایشون میدن که چه کارهای اضافه شده و چه بودجه زیادی گذاشته شده برای در واقع بازگشایی مدارس و اینکه والدین با خیالی راحت بتونن بچه ها رو بفرستن به مدرسه. به این گفتگو توجه کنید. Hello everybody, we have Minister of Education Stephen Lecce on air. Hello Minister, thank you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Before we start, I'd like to thank you for working around the clock for everybody. And as we know, school will open tomorrow. What's the plan to get kids back to school?
Well, it's important that children are back in school and they will be returning to a school system that is made safer with improvements to air ventilation. We have 70,000 HEPA filtration units within Ontario classrooms, and an additional 3,000 are being sent into schools to make them even safer. We have deployed 3.9 million rapid tests so that parents at home, you at home, have the ability to test your child whenever they're symptomatic. In addition, we have a very strong investment in PPE, and that's in the the safe masks that we've procured. I'm talking about the N95 masks for the staff, the highest quality. We're the only province to have invested that type of mask quality for our children and for our staff. And for our kids, we have 3-ply masks that are safe and of course will help to reduce risk. And finally, we're asking parents to look to the new screening document. It's the new symptoms that parents have to screen their children for before they enter. It is more sensitive, but the idea is to reduce the risk of transmission in our schools and protect them from the Omicron variant. So we've got a variety of new investments in place, more ventilation, more masking, and of course, more testing. And I think that's going to make a difference to support our kids.
You mentioned rapid test. It's new for 2022. So yeah, it's going to be easy for everybody to use?
Well, the rapid tests, I think, are easy to use. We're going to give parents 2 tests. What they can do is on a weekly basis, if their children become symptomatic, they provide them a test on day 1. The child gets a negative test. They take a second one 24 hours later. If their symptoms go away, 2 negative tests, they go back to school. So they're made fairly easy, to be honest with you. They're done within 5-10 minutes. And they're really designed to give you the assurance you need if your child is symptomatic or not. So it helps to reduce the risk of your child going to school with COVID. It also helps parents know if their child indeed has it. And I think that's important. We're going to be one of the only provinces to deploy millions of tests on a weekly basis for families, for students, and for the staff as well. And finally, I just will mention that the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Moore, all medical officers of health, and the Children's Health Coalition, which is the coalition of pediatric hospitals, they all support the reopening of schools tomorrow. They support our measures. In fact, the head of the Ontario Science Table said that Ontario has one of the strongest school programs on the continent. So obviously, we're cautious. We're guided by the best medical advisors, and everyone we're speaking to in the medical community is saying children need to get back for their mental and their physical health. And with all of these layers of protection, we're going to really help to reduce the risk for these children and for our communities.
That is great. That was our next question, what they're feeling, and it's great. Yeah. We have their support. Everyone excited, parents, kids, everyone happy to be reopening the school. I appreciate the ongoing work on improving air ventilation. What has been done and what is being done to make it safer? As you explained, but it's going to be safe, right?
Well, this is why we're investing so much in the ventilation, because we didn't start when Omicron came to the world and came to Canada. I'm proud that our government and our premier, we started investing in ventilation 2 years ago, but last summer we stepped it up. We have 70,000 HEPA units in classrooms. In a school that does not have mechanical ventilation, we have a HEPA unit in every classroom, every cafeteria, every library, every learning lab, to make sure that those settings, those classes are also safe. For the schools that do have mechanical ventilation, we've invested in improving and optimizing the HVAC systems. We've put in place the highest quality filters, MERV 13s, that help to really improve the air quality within the school and a childcare setting. We change our filters more often. We run our air systems 2 hours longer than before. We have invested $600 million specifically to make sure that our air ventilation systems are optimized so that they are at their best with the maximum airflow and the highest quality filtration. That's a significant investment. And Ontario leads Canada. We have more HEPA units than all provinces combined. We've put more investment in ventilation than the provinces combined. But we did this because we wanted to make sure, no matter what happens, what variant, that the schools were as safe as possible, and we protect them, and most especially we reduce the risk. And that's exactly what we did. We're stepping it up with 3,000 more HEPA units and of course, better masking, because the PPE, I think, is going to make a difference, which is why we're the only province in Canada to give our educators N95s. Another part of our plan is to ensure vaccinations. We've been really encouraging education staff, the bus drivers, the teachers themselves, the EAs, the principals, everyone, to go get a booster. We've made it easy for them. We gave them access, preferential, accelerated access. And we're hoping that all of them will have been boosted by the time they return to school. There's now tons of opportunities. We open 11 clinics across Ontario specifically for them. And for kids, while we have one of the highest vaccination rates for high school, we want to keep encouraging immunization. And that's why we're going to be launching these clinics, school-based clinics that require parental consent. So clinics, more vaccine, better PPE, strong, improved air ventilation, and testing, millions of tests, as you mentioned, something new for 2022. Finally, now that we have the tests from the federal government, this plan, as I noted, it's supported by and endorsed by the Chief Medical Officer of Health, and he said we've done everything possible to reduce risk and to protect our schools.
We can see it's ready to go. For tomorrow, everything's ready. That's great. Thank you, Minister, for your time, and all the best. Once again, on behalf of the community, we thank you for working hard for parents and kids.
Thank you. And I just want to thank my colleague, Michael Parsa, who has been such an amazing advocate for families, for children, to get them back to school safely with all the measures in place. The Premier, Michael, and I are really grateful for the strong Persian community, their generosity, their kindness, and their compassion. I know this has been difficult, so I just want to wish everyone my best in 2022. Stay positive. I know there will be difficult days ahead, and we'll have challenges within our school system too, but we will overcome it. We are a team, we're one country, and I really do believe that we'll get through this. So stay positive, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Definitely. Thank you, Minister. God bless both of you, you and Michael.
Thank you.
خب دوستان گرامی، همونطور که گوش فرا دادین و متوجه شدین، منیستر آموزش و پرورش توضیح کاملی داد در مورد اینکه نه تنها آنچه که لازم هست برای سیفتی بچه‌ها، برای وضعیت اینکه کاملا در حفاظت باشن انجام دادن در رابطه با رپید تست هایی که در اختیارشونه، در رابطه با ماسک های N95 که دیگه تقریبا میشه گفت 99% امنیت دارن که ویروس وارد نشه به دهان و بینی آنها از طریق تنفس، و در این که مدیکال آفیسر پزشکی، در واقع کسانی که در رأس این کار هستن و الان دارن تایید میکنن که مدارس کاملا آمادن با سیفتی و کارهایی که انجام دادن برای بچه ها بتونن برگردن با خیالی راحت برگردن به مدرسه. اونها هم تایید کردن بازگشایی مدارس رو از فردا، و این خب اتفاق خوبیه هم برای پدر مادرها که واقعا خیلی درصد بالایی از پدر مادرها چشم انتظار بودن که بچه‌ها برگردن، چون میدونین که از نظر در واقع منتالی و روحی تأثیر خیلی بدی گذاشته بود این بچه‌ها در خونه باشن و درس بخونن روی کامپیوتر. خب فرصت خیلی خوبی پیش آمد که بودجه بسیار زیادی استان اونتاریو در واقع گذاشت برای بازگشایی مدارس. همه اینا رو توضیح داد براتون. و اینکه در واقع هواکش هایی که برای تهویه هوا هم در گذشته کار کرده بودن، هم اون رو در واقع بوست بیشتری دادن، قدرت بیشتری دارن بهش میدن و مخارج زیادی براشون در بر گرفته. ولی بخش در واقع بودجه، وزارت بودجه که خود آقای مایکل پارسا MPP نازنینی که همه ما باهاش آشنا هستیم چون ایرانی تباره، و خب بخش در واقع وزارت خونه اونها بودجه خیلی زیادی رو در اختیار وزیر آموزش پرورش گذاشته که بتونن با خیالی راحت آنچه که نیاز هست برای امنیت بچه‌ها در مدارس آماده کنن و آماده است از فردا. و تمام در واقع بخش پزشکی، چیف مدیکال آفیسر آف هلت هم که در واقع بهداشت، در قسمت بهداشتمون همه رو تایید کردن و پدر مادرها میتونن با خیال راحت فردا بچه ها رو بفرستن مرسل. تا هوای اونتاریو سرده، خودتون میدونی، یعنی تورنتو که حالا به هر حال هوا بسیار سرده، ماینس هست همش و اون خودش همیشه حالا به این سردی هم شاید نبوده، ولی ماه ژانویه و فوریه از ماهای بسیار سرد ماست که خود پدر مادرها باید مراقب سرماخوردگی معمولی بچه ها هم می بودن همیشه. ولی از نظر اینکه اومیکرون یا ویروس های دیگه بچه ها رو تهدید کنه کاملا پوشونده شده و حفاظت شده که مشکلی نداشته باشن. خب تبریک میگیم به کار سختشون و به شما پدر مادرهایی که چشم انتظار بودین تا این کار انجام بشه و آقای دادفورد با به هر حال کابینه موفق و سختی که دارن کار میکنن تونستن به این مرحله برسن که رضایت پدر مادرها جلب بشه و بتونن بچه ها رو بفرستن مدرسه. موفق باشین. تا روزی دیگر، برنامه دیگر در خدمتتون خواهیم.